not just in the Great Stuff range, but we actually extended that into all of our own branded ready meals and food, because we believed it was fundamentally, if mums wanted it for their children, actually they wanted it for their family as well. And it's been one of the biggest drivers for us of reformulating and looking at the products that we developed to sell under our own brand labels. They didn't want complex ingredients. They are very suspicious of complex processed food. They want simple ingredients that they can understand and get some recognition with. They wanted to spell out very clearly, with no claims, no over-exaggeration, what are the health benefits? What is good about this? Is it going to give my child 1, 2, 3 portions of their 5 a day? What is the salt content? What's the fat content? How is this going to help? Trust is very important to them. Mums are busy. Any of you who are mums and go, or dads and go shopping with your kids in the supermarket know supermarket's not the greatest place. As much as I'd love you to spend hours in supermarkets, I know you want to do it as quickly as possible. So actually, once you've got familiar with where products are and you trust those products, you get into a pattern and you get into habit. So trust was very, very important. And the other things mum don't want to feel is guilty. Not feeling guilty is really, really important. And that extends not just to how she's feeding the youngest in her family, but her family overall. It's an important occasion. It's the time when the family sit down to socialise at meal times. And I don't want to feel guilty that I'm giving my children something, or my family something, that I'm in any way uncomfortable about what it might do for their health, or what the ingredients are, or whether I don't really understand whether it's good or bad for my family. The kids have to like it, and value must equal no waste. It isn't just about, is it affordable, but also it's no waste. And one of the things that was really important when we saw food price inflation kick in 2 years ago, and may well be important as we look to the future, mums were working on very tight budgets. And the first time it came home to me that we were seeing a credit crunch, a cash crunch in terms of household incomes, was I spend probably a day a week in stores talking to customers, doing customer listening groups, but I was doing an accompanied shop with a mum, and I was intrigued about how, when we got to the checkout, she very deliberately placed things on the conveyor in a particular order. She'd shopped with a list, but she'd also put then on the conveyor in a particular order. I said, yeah, can you just explain to me why you're doing this? And she said, yeah. She said, last week, for the first time in my memory, she said, I didn't have enough money to pay for my groceries. She said, and I was so embarrassed because I was having to take things out of my bags and say to the cashier, can you take those off, please? She said, I never want to have that happen again, because everybody was behind me going, this woman hasn't got enough money. She said, and my pride was affected. She said, so, money's tight. She said, so I've got to know that I can buy enough to feed my family for the week, but I can't take any risks. I can't buy something and think, well, they might like that, because I can't afford to do that. Because if they don't like it, I've either got nothing else to feed them on, or I've got to dip into next week's money, or I've got to try and make ends meet in some other way. And so the importance of value not being about waste is really important to mums. I want my kids to have a clean plate. That's a sign of success. Throwing food away is not just wasting food, but it's also potentially wasting money. Putting something on the table that they're not going to eat because they don't like it is not something that I want to do. Looking at it from children's perspective, they want to be engaged. They want appeal. And instant gratification is really important. I want it now, I want it to taste great, I want to enjoy it, and I want to move on. Kids are always on the go. What really, really appealed to them was, it's for me. It's designed for me. It's not mum trying to make me eat grown-up food. It's food that's designed with me in mind. And that was really important. And it also allowed us to fit into, I know, which is a strategy from Change for Life, which we also support, the kind of me-sized meals approach. And actually about saying, it's for me, it's designed for me, it's my dinner. It makes something different to what my parents are having. Where we're doing snack bags, things like that, and fruit and carrot sticks and what have you, easy to eat, easy to open. particularly if it's going into a lunchbox or it's a little snack on the move, it's got to be very easy to eat, and it's particularly got to be easy to open. If it's entertaining and fun, if it's a conversation piece with my friends, that's important. There's also an element of it shows what I've done. It's actually about I've eaten this. This is about me. This is about me as a child wanting to do something healthy. And parental approval is really, really important to children. So actually knowing that mum or dad is pleased that they're eating this is a really important part of what fuels the way in which children engage with wanting to eat healthily. Where it's taken us to is that on data from TNS, Great Stuff is now the #1 kids food and drink brand in the UK with sales of £93 million. That may not sound a lot, but from a standing start 3 years ago, that is a really big category for us and continues to grow. I'll talk a bit more about what we've done to promote activity, but last year, through the work we did with Lazy Town and Sporticus, and through the research we've done, we moved around, got about 1.1 million kids moving and doing some sort of activity. Customers tell us through our researchers that 35% say you've encouraged our children to eat more healthily, and almost half of them felt that we help them in raising kids. And we've always been very much about being the family supermarket and being for families, whether that's in clothing through the George range, whether that's our health and our baby events, or whether it's through food. For the family is really important. And that's a yardstick of success for us, is a growing brand which is trusted by mums and is trusted by the children. One of the things that we were very conscious of is it isn't just about the calories inside of the equation or the energy inside, it's also about the energy out. And encouraging kids to get active is something which mums come back to us time and time again and say, we need some help, we need some support on this. We've done a number of things in this area, and last year we came to an arrangement with Lazy Town. Now, those of you who haven't got children ranged around sort of 2 to 6 will probably not have heard of Lazy Town, but Lazy Town and Sporticus, who's the character. Sporticus is a superhero, but he's a superhero who is obsessed with exercise and eating healthily. Fruit and vegetables he calls sports candy, encouraging children to think about them rather like sweets and enjoy eating them and snacking with them. It's a very, very popular television programme that you can see on CBeebies. It gets very, very high viewing figures and is a brand that works across Northern Europe and is starting to work in the US as well. So we signed a partnership agreement with Sporticus to tie together these two areas of Great Stuff, which is healthy eating, and encouraging activity, and put this very heavily into stores. And some of the images, the central image you can see there is from a Derby store on a Saturday morning. We thought we would get 300 or 400 children. We got 4,000 children. Purely off the strength of Sporticus and an ad in the local paper and some PR. And he just encouraged them. They were doing exercises and they were doing little fitness routines. They were getting their mums and their dads to do it with them. And it all is about saying, you know, exercise is fun, eating healthily is fun. And that's the really important thing for us. And taking it through in terms of national coverage, advertising, PR, and online through the website. We have some 17 million customers a week. About 1.5 million to 2 million of those are hitting the website. About 5 million of those read the Asda magazine. So using all of the channels to communicate healthy eating, activity, the link to Sporticus was a really important part of driving this for our customer base. And particularly online, and the partnership between ourselves and Lazy Town was really very strong, and this drove something like 2 million hits on our website over last summer, just having this link with Lazy Town, with lots of things that are advice about what you can do to encourage your kids to eat more healthily, some little exercise things that they can do, and just some advice on how to deal with problems when little Jimmy doesn't want to eat his vegetables or little Jane doesn't want to eat her fruit.